You're on a mission to rehumanize the workplace. Tell us about that.
Well, going back to my two experiences I've had of dehumanized workplaces and how it sucked the well-being out of me. And everywhere I go, when people say, hey, what do you do? And I always start with, our purpose is to rehumanize the workplace so people can bring their best selves to work and home. And people go, oh my gosh, and they start telling me horror stories. Everywhere I go, I hear horror stories of poor leadership, being treated like crap, just all kinds of stuff. And so when I think about rehumanizing workplaces, at its core, it's, can each and every one of us go to a workplace, whether we physically go in or we're virtual or hybrid, and feel like we can show up as our authentic self versus wearing masks, wearing armor, where we can be us and our gifts and talents are appreciated, that we belong, that we matter, that we're valued, and that we get to learn and grow, like we're not stagnant. We get to have work that is an opportunity for us to meaningfully contribute, and that we have something left to give back into our personal life at the end of the day. Like that's a human workplace. Can people show up and stop this needing to be their 10-year-old on-guard self, because it's causing all kinds of problems. And so that's really what it is. So it means there's clarity of purpose and values. It means that there's psychological safety, physical safety, if that is part of the work, that there is growth, that we're not keeping people in their comfort zones, that we're guiding them to become a better version of themselves.
More empathy?
More empathy, more community, all of it. That's really what a humanized workplace is. If you look at the data, the American Psychological Association has reported that 87% of adults believe that there's been a constant stream of crises since 2020 with no break, and it's taking its toll. Yeah. So you start to look at all that has transpired, and people are tired, people are exhausted, people are stressed. And there's another stat that I've been using lately that since 2019, our capacity to handle change is half of what it was. So it makes sense, right? If we have this constant stream of crises, if we're stressed, if we're burned out, we can't handle change and disruption much. And so how that is fed in is, I think that people are reevaluating what matters to them. People really are reevaluating their life. And I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon if you look at the data.
Yeah, right.
And so where I go back to, organizations need to either reset and really reprioritize how they're leading, how they're just going about day-to-day business, or they're going to be irrelevant.
Right.
That is showing up more and more. The rules have changed, and we can't do what we've always done.
Let's talk about some of the tools and techniques and strategies you actually implement.
So we call it our lighthouse, but start with the lighthouse and get clarity of who you are. So we will do that work with organizations, and then all of I call it the wraparound systems that help that be lived on a daily basis versus it was a nice exercise with a consultant. We will work with leaders and teams to help them be more future ready. So it might be a combination of individual coaching. We also do a lot of work to help them learn how to be more self-aware, build emotional intelligence, have better feedback conversations, better lead into ambiguity, be more empathetic, be more courageous, because that's really a critical piece of it. We will do work with teams to help them be more cohesive, to help them get on the same page, to help them better navigate conflict, to help them just overall be more effective. So those are the kind of the different levels and layers, and within that we have a whole variety of tools and resources that we will bring in to help a team, help an organization, depending on what makes sense and where they're at on their journey.
What do you see as the future of your work?
Well, I would love to say I'd never have a job again, because it doesn't need to be happening, but I see...
I think your phone's going to ring more now.
Where you try to work yourself out of a job. What I see that is encouraging is there is so much work to be done. While there's incredible movement happening and more organizations are getting that they need to do the work and show up differently and develop their leaders differently. Right. But I'm seeing an increase, like, hey, we get this. Hey, we're struggling. I'm seeing increased pain where people are realizing, hey, we need to look at our culture differently. We need to look at our leaders differently. And so I am seeing just an increase in us doing courage building work, in us doing this work to help upshift this faulty programming we have. And I think that's really cool, because there's a lot of people on this planet, there's a lot of organizations on this planet, and that at its core, when we do that work with people, they talk about it transforms their personal relationships, it transforms their own well-being. When you learn to get out of your own way, when you learn to show up more authentically, when you learn to have better connections with other people, like that just goes into every fabric of your being. And that to me is really, really cool. And so I think that those opportunities are opening up, and it's really fun to be able to have an impact and watch people come to life again.